this morning. That's almost certainly a lie. Typically, the president and his senior team are briefed the day before the jobs numbers come out. There's another thing I want to point out, too, is there's two different surveys within the report. There's the establishment survey, that's a survey of businesses. There's also a household survey, which is a survey of households and demographics. So another thing that's a concern here is all the demographic data, not just race data, but immigrant worker data, is now at the mercy of this new BLS commissioner. You know what the president feels about DEI. So all of these things could, in theory, be manipulated by a loyalist that Trump appoints.
Wow. I want to read you there just some of the reaction, because I thought it was notable that you have a bunch of conservatives, Trump's former person at BLS coming out and saying this is incredibly alarming. You've got Scott Winship. This is Scott Winship at AEI saying Powell firing would be bad. This is much worse. It's attempt to strong arm the objective fact-checking process. You've got William Beach, who again, who was in this position, totally groundless, sets a dangerous precedent. We are seeing, people really ring the alarms. Oren Cass, who's another conservative economist, saying you don't fire the head of BLS when a bad jobs report come out. My question is, shouldn't we be hearing from Republican senators like right away, right now?
We absolutely should. I'm sorry. Shall I respond?
Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jared.
We absolutely should be hearing from Republican senators, obviously Democrats, anyone who can restrain this kind of an action. Now is the time to step up and do your job. You accepted this job because you were going to defend democracy. Well, you can't have a democracy that drives in the dark without headlights, which is exactly what happens when you take control of the statistical agencies. That is the process by which countries, really lose control of their economy and their information flow. So absolutely, yes, members of Congress need to step up.
Well, here's another thing, Dan. The stock market just posted its worst week in months, right? And that was because of renewed economic fears, because the jobs numbers are bad and the tariffs are back on, and we got the highest tariff level in years. And here's the thing that I'm sort of stunned by. You would think the business community en masse, the Chamber of Commerce and CEOs and people on Wall Street would understand what this means. Like, it's not just this is good or bad for Donald Trump. These are the numbers that everyone in the entire economy, every global financial player, every domestic financial player, every planner at every company is using this data. If this data is mucked with, it screws everyone. It seems pretty important that all of those players speak up right now.
Right. If you think tariffs are bad, the entire purchasing power of the United States is based on people believing that our system is sound and honest. And so if the notion that we are now questioning what the data is coming from the Department of Labor, that makes our dollar weaker and it makes goods for Americans more expensive. I want to say one other thing, too, which is that the BLS commissioner is appointed on a 4-year term. So when we came into the Department of Labor, we had Bill Beach. I worked closely with him. Jared worked closely with him. And you know what? He was an economist. He was a very smart economist, and we trusted him. And of course, there were downward revisions every now and then, but that's part of statistical sampling. It's the reality of math. And so that's what's so tragic here, is that he's trying to put this on the commissioner when it's really just the way science works.
Yeah. Which he said came out November 15th, which is a complete lie. They were actually downward revised in August before the election, which was, if it was a plan to get, Kamala Harris elected, it was not particularly well executed because the revisions came out. This also makes me pretty scared about the Fed, Jared. We had one Biden-appointed Fed governor, Kugler, resigning today, and Trump doing a victory lap, saying she went, he should go too. This does not give one confidence about what he's going to do there.
Exactly right. Donald Trump is very explicit about stacking the court wherever he can, whether it's the court, the Fed, or now our statistical agencies. That is authoritarianism 101. Basically, when you live in an alternate reality, as I would argue Donald Trump and many of his minions do, and the numbers don't reflect that reality because they're accurate, and you're over there in La La Land, you have two choices. You can adjust your policy to the numbers, to the incoming data flow. That's what we did, and that's what virtually every government, left or right, has done, or you can just attack the messengers, fire the numbers purveyors, and try to get the cooked reality you're looking for. That is exactly the path to destruction of our society. I take this extremely seriously. It's exactly what I worried about when I was on your show the other night.
And exactly like when he wanted them to stop testing for COVID so the numbers would go down, but of course, COVID, the virus, has nothing to do with whether it's measured. Dan, it's the same thing. You can lie about the numbers, but people have jobs or don't have jobs. Things are expensive or not expensive. Like, you can't outrun the reality.
And the reality is there are thousands of people who help put together this jobs report every month. There are hundreds of thousands of inputs of data. I can't even imagine the career employees at the Bureau of Labor Statistics have already been downtrodden over DOGE and what have you. We want the best and brightest in our government to give us the most accurate data. This is just yet another blow to morale, and it just hurts the whole country.
Dan Coe and Jared Bernstein on a wild day. Thank you both. Appreciate it.